Right, thanks everyone for coming along this morning for the launch of the Macquarie Credit Union Dream Festival for 2014, and I'd like to welcome our Mayor Matthew Dickerson. Thanks Matthew. Also Councillor Bill Kelly, thanks for coming along Bill, and Matt Fuller from Taronga Western Plains Zoo, another guests and visitors. Thanks very much for coming along. We have a couple of apologies for today. Our federal member Mark Colton, our state David Macquarie and David Dubbo. So they're our apologies. Today marks another milestone in the Dream Festival. Some 4 years ago we set off on a journey plan, but as we all know along the way those sorts of things change, and I think we've been quite flexible, but we've still maintained our vision to be the best festival in this year's festival. And I'd like to thank particularly my assistant chair, Anne Pearl, for the work that she's done. I've been a little bit behind the scenes this year with my activities, and Anne, I'd certainly like to thank you for holding up my end of the deal along the way and chairing the meetings. But to our committee, I'd like to personally thank each. Without that support we would not have been able to function, particularly in those early days, and I certainly encourage them to keep that support going in the years to come, in some way, shape or form. I'd also like to thank our strategic alliance, which is Taronga Western Plains Zoo, and all our other sponsors that are supporting. This year, to run the festival, our budget is $85,000, and the activities at events. It's on the marketing and promotion of the festival, and also of Dubbo as a city and what we have to offer. I think the big thing that's coming out of Dream is the continued support that we're gaining from the community. And that's really, really important, because without that support, the festival wouldn't exist. But what's of extreme importance is that the community are becoming engaged, and that's all level of the community. We have a number of schools. This year we have some 200 students participating in the lantern workshops that will then be shown and put on parade at the twilight markets and the lantern parade. And that's what, last year we had 100, so we've doubled those figures. If you look at the figures from when we first started off, the Dream Festival, they've grown exponentially year on year, and while we would like to think last year we had some 10,800 people participate at events, we'd like to think this year, because each year we've been able to double that, we got 21,600 this year, we would be blown out of the water, but we're realistic and we don't, but we're very confident that we'll see an increase in those numbers. So again, thanks very much. Thanks for coming along today. Thanks to Anne and the committee for their support, and also a little special mention to Kerrigan Usback for the work that she does behind the scenes in putting things like this and leading us with this, with the marketing and the whole strategy that's taking place around that, and the professionalism on which she operates. And I think one of the things that we'll notice this year is that we'll have banners lining Macquarie Street which will promote the Dream Festival, which is a first. And I think that's another milestone engaging the community, and it was through that support of the Macquarie Credit Union that's been able to help to do that. But what I'd like to do now is I'd like to call on Matthew Bow from Macquarie Credit Union just to say a couple of words. Thanks Matthew.
It's a big day for us. We're very, very proud to be supporting the Dream Festival this year, and having the privilege of being the first corporate sponsor at the Dream Festival. We've been following it for a couple of years now and have seen it grow, and we believe it's time to get involved with the Dream Festival, because as John said, it is engaging more of the community, and we can see tremendous benefits to the community as a whole, for Macquarie and also for the Dream Festival in being involved. In our 50th year this year, the festival is going to play a major part in our 50-year celebrations, and over the years we've been true to being local, and we want to stay local. We are the only locally owned financial institution in Dubbo, and that's the way we want to be. As the major sponsor, I've been given the privilege of basically officially launching the Dream Festival 2014. Thank you.
Part of our community now. And I've got to give tribute to Peter Bartley, who was then Councillor Peter Bartley, who really wanted to drive a festival for Dubbo. And a lot of people talked about Tamworth and Elvis festivals in parks as two of the great festivals around the region, and I think they are great festivals. And what we've got to remember is that Tamworth started in 1973, so they've got a few years head start on the Dream Festival. Council at the moment runs that, and I actually really like the fact that this Dream is not run by council, it's run by a community group of very committed individuals. I think that's fantastic. Council in Tamworth contributes $1.6 million to the Tamworth Country Music Festival. That's net cost. That's not put it in and they get some back. That's how much it costs them to run it. This council only puts $40,000 in the Dream. When I say only, don't get too excited. It doesn't mean we're going to But I think that's a good contribution from council, but nothing like the $1.6 million that Tamworth puts in. Even in parks of the Elvis Festival, and again it started in 1993, council there runs it and puts in $350,000 to get the numbers that we've got. So 10,000 last year. I hope you do get 21,600 this year. I think that'll be fantastic. But again, I think you can see what a group of committed individuals did. And when Peter Bartley started that process, John was good enough to take over as chair. I don't know if you think that's a good decision now, John, or a bad decision, because there's a lot of work involved. But having that community group really get in and drive something, I think it's a better event. I like the fact that it's been shortened down to about 13 days this year, 13th to the 25th of October. I think it brings the events together in a more compact form and makes it a festival that more people can become involved in over that shorter time frame. I think, as John said, we're finding our way a little bit with the festival, finding exactly what works. But the main thing is it's getting better each year, it's growing each year, and it's only the 4th year. Imagine when we've been going as long as the Tamworth Festival or the Elvis Festival, just how big Dream will be. Now it's also an indication of just what we've got in Dubbo. It started 4 years ago, around the same time as our theatre. Our theatre's just over 4 years old now. I think Dubbo itself is just discovering a little bit of culture, discovering there's more to life than what people would normally associate with a regional area. So we're discovering that arts, that music, that whole different scene. And I think Dream ties into that perfectly. So I wish Dream all the best of luck for this year. I wish Dream all the best of luck for many, many years to come. I know councillors like Bill Kelly and myself are very supportive of this, so we'll be in there pushing to keep that going, keep the funding going, to make sure that the Dream keeps going on, keeps getting bigger each year, and I look forward to a bigger and better Dream Festival this year and years to come. Well done, John. Thank you very much.
Please stay and enjoy some of the fine food that's been provided. There are media packs there for anyone that's interested, and Kerrigan will hand them out. Thank you. And again, thanks very much for coming along.